Here are 5 scary stories that take place in Arizona. Stay around to hear the last one. It's based directly on real Arizona folklore. 1. The lights over Sonoran Flats. The Sonoran Desert is loud during the day, but at night it goes unnaturally quiet. Evan learned that on his third night camping near Sonoran Flats, just east of Phoenix. He had driven out to escape the city, bringing only a tent, a cooler, and his camera. The sky out there was so clear it felt like standing beneath an ocean of stars. At exactly 2:17 a.m., his camera stopped recording. Evan noticed because the red light blinked off without warning. He sat up in his sleeping bag, confused. The air felt heavy, like the desert was holding its breath. Then he saw the lights. 3 of them hovered low over the flat desert, glowing pale blue. They didn't blink like planes or streak like meteors. They waited. When Evan stood, the lights shifted, gliding closer without making a sound. His phone lost signal. His watch stopped ticking. The ground beneath him began to hum. Evan tried to convince himself it was military testing. Luke Air Force Base wasn't that far away. But the lights formed a perfect triangle and slowly rotated, as if studying him. A voice entered his head. "Do not run." Evan dropped to his knees. Images flooded his thoughts, memories he hadn't shared with anyone. His childhood bedroom, his mother's voice, the exact smell of rain on desert dust. The lights descended. Something tall and thin emerged beneath them, its outlines shimmering like heat waves. Evan couldn't focus on its face. Every time he tried, his eyes slid away. "You are observed," the voice said. "You are temporary." Evan screamed, and the sound vanished into the night. When hikers found his campsite the next morning, everything was neatly packed. The tent was folded, the cooler unopened. Evan's camera lay in the sand. The last video file was corrupted, except for one frame. It showed the desert at night, and 3 shadows standing where Evan should have been. 2. The Ouija board on Route 66. Route 66 cuts through Arizona like a forgotten scar. Maya, Lucas, and Jordan stopped at an abandoned roadside motel near Kingman after their car overheated. The office was unlocked. Dust coated everything. On a table in the lobby sat a Ouija board. Jordan laughed. Classic horror setup. They didn't believe in ghosts. That was their first mistake. They lit candles using a lighter from the glove compartment and placed their fingers on the planchette. Maya asked the first question as a joke. "Is anyone here?" The planchette slid to yes. Lucas tried to pull his hand away, but it felt stuck, like pressing against wet glass. "What's your name?" Maya asked, her smile fading. The planchette spelled Elias. The temperature dropped. One of the candles went out. Jordan asked, "How did you die?" The board moved fast now, left behind. A door slammed somewhere in the motel. Maya whispered, "We should stop." Jordan asked one more question. "Are you still here?" The planchette dragged itself across the board, carving a scratch into the wood. "Stay." The candles blew out all at once. In the dark, footsteps echoed down the hallway. Slow, dragging footsteps. A hand pressed against the glass door of the office from the outside, leaving a dusty print. They ran. Their car started immediately this time. They never looked back. Years later, Maya found an old newspaper article online. The motel had shut down after a man named Elias died there in the 1950s. The article said he'd begged for help when his car broke down. No one stopped. The motel burned down shortly after. But travelers on Route 66 still report a light on in the office at night. Waiting. 3. The thing in the Superstition Mountains. Locals say, the Superstition Mountains don't like visitors. Tyler didn't listen. He hiked alone, chasing rumors of hidden mines and strange sounds. His GPS failed by noon. By sunset, the shadows between the jagged rocks seemed too deep, too crowded. He heard footsteps that weren't his own. Whenever he stopped, they stopped. Tyler found an old trail marker carved with symbols he didn't recognize. The air smelled metallic. A low growl echoed through the canyon. Then he saw it. Something tall, bent wrong, its outlines shifting as it moved from rock to rock. Its eyes reflected the moonlight like an animal's, but far too high off the ground. Tyler ran. The thing didn't chase him. It followed. Calmly, patiently. By morning, search teams found Tyler's backpack neatly placed on a boulder. His footprints ended at a cliff edge. Below was nothing but empty desert. No body was ever found. Hikers still report the feeling of being watched in the Superstitions. and the sound of slow footsteps matching their own. 4. The whispering heat of Tucson. The summer heat in Tucson can make people hear things. At least that's what Elena told herself when she started hearing whispers during her evening walks. The voices seemed to come from the pavement itself, rising with the heat. Stop. Turn back. One night she followed the voice instead. It led her to an abandoned wash where the air shimmered unnaturally. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, urgent. Figures formed in the heat waves, human-shaped but hollow, like outlines burned into the air. They reached for her. Elena stumbled back, heart racing, and the figures dissolved as the night cooled. The next day, she learned the wash had once been a settlement wiped out by a heat wave over a century ago. People still collapse there in summer. Some say the heat remembers. 5. The Mogollon Watcher. Long before highways cut through northern Arizona, people spoke of something that lived in the forests along the Mogollon Rim. They called it the Mogollon Monster. Rangers don't like talking about it. Ben was a seasonal fire lookout stationed near the rim. From his tower, he could see miles of pine forest and deep ravines. At night, he heard wood knocks echo through the trees. 3 slow hits, repeated again and again. Something answered back. One evening, Ben spotted a tall figure at the tree line. It stood completely still, covered in dark hair, its eyes reflecting firelight from his lantern. He radioed it in. Static answered. The creature raised an arm, too long, joints bending wrong, and pointed at the tower. Ben locked the door. The knocking started below him, slow, heavy, patient. By morning, the tower was empty. Rangers found massive footprints circling the base, then vanishing into the forest. The official report said Ben quit without notice. But locals still say that when the forest goes silent along the Mogollon Rim, something ancient is watching, waiting for someone to notice it again.